We're talking to Wayne Thomas and Dan Schmidt there with Grand Rapids Ghost Hunters. If you need their help, 616-541, is that right?
Yep.
616-541-4496. I want to talk about Mitten Brewery over on the west side because this is one of these older buildings we were talking about that's been restored. And they actually, if you go in there, have a ghost journal where people are encouraged to take note of any unusual behavior they have. So what did you guys find when you went into that building?
Right. Their employees also make notes in that journal. It's the first place we ever went to where we started out with a journal. Usually at the end, we have a whole folder full of information. But this is one of those legendary ghosts where it's been a reputation. So we weren't sure what we were going to find. But it was an interesting evening. MLive followed us that night. Dan, did you get any spider senses at the Mitten?
Yeah, so we had, based on experiences that they had told us about and that we had read in the journal, again, you know, we've kind of talked about that whole matrix thing. You kind of go into it expecting certain things to happen. What I did not expect to happen was, if you've ever been in the Mitten, it's a 2-story building, and there's a set of stairs with a landing in the middle of it. And on that landing, there's a rather large window that looks out over the street. And while we were upstairs, I saw a young girl standing in front of that window looking out the window. We didn't get to capture it on any of our equipment, but that was just a personal experience that we had. But there was all kinds of things going on. We had...
hold on right there. If I can jump in here, because you said you saw something, but that doesn't necessarily mean if you see something, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to show up, does it?
Right.
I mean, it could be just you... Just either you're sensitive to it or you're...
Right, absolutely. It's really nice if we can get it to corroborate by it showing up on video or capturing a voice at the same time. But yeah, quite often a personal experience is just that, a personal experience.
Right. Because when I saw those dead soldiers at Gettysburg, nobody else saw them. It was just me.
Right, absolutely.
Right. Well, the gal that's on our team, she saw a full-form apparition during the night. And at the same time, she came upstairs, and then that's when I recorded "Get Out."
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I think it followed her upstairs.
Now, is this? Are they malicious ghosts? Do they will they steal your pizza? Like, will they have I had 3 slices, now I got 2.
They might, because it's really good pizza. But no, I don't think that anything there was malicious. We didn't feel like there was anything going on there that would put anybody in danger. Just maybe scare the daylights out of you if you're not expecting it.
What were some of the experiences that people had related to you in this journal? What was some of the things that they were experiencing?
Yeah, well, there was one. They had a theory that there was a fireman that went around to different firehouses, because it's old firehouse number 9.
Right.
And so that this thing went around and haunted different firehouses. Now, firehouse number 11 is rumored to be haunted.
And where's that?
I don't know exactly where. That's in Grand Rapids.
Okay.
But firehouse number 9 was one of the oldest firehouses. And there have been a couple deaths. J.P. Penning is one of the firemen. And I said, J.P., are you with us? And we all heard the noise because they have a sign with his initials on it. We all heard it at the same time with our ears. And we all turned and said, what the heck was that?
All right, I want to get this lady's phone call. I recorded it. She didn't want to come in this morning, but I did record her story. And it starts kind of as a prankish ghost, and then it gets, well, I'll let her tell it.
Moved into this house. We started, the lights would turn on and off, and the radio station would change, and we'd come home from work, and our water bed would be moving. And all that was freaky enough. And then one night I got up in the middle of the night to go to the restroom. I saw a man. He kind of reminded me of what you would see in an old Western. He kind of looked like an old banker with the slick black hair and a vest. I'll never forget him for as long as I live, because I actually never believed in ghosts until I moved in that house. I knew that he knew I seen him too, because the way he looked at me.
There you go. So this is something that's a prank. And what's with the ghosts turning the radio station? That's just, unless they're turning it to my station, I don't like that. Yeah. But is that like a pranky thing that ghosts do?
Yeah, quite often. Ghosts are typically trying to get our attention. Mm-hmm. If they're here, they're a lot of times here because there may be unfinished business, or maybe they just wanted to stick around because it used to be their property, whatever. But in a lot of cases, they just want you to know that they're there. And any way that they can convey that, they will try to. So in a lot of times, if they can manipulate the radio and change the station, turn on lights, turn off lights, those are really common things that people will encounter when they're dealing with a ghost.
And then I thought it was goofy too that it was like an old-timey guy, and I wouldn't even think he'd know how to operate a radio.
Yeah, who knows if they had radio, depending on how old, he could have been a cowboy, who knows.
Yeah.
But electrical disturbances are, like Pastor Dan said, very common.
Is that because the ghosts are kind of an electrical field by themselves?
They are.
Okay.
They are electrical field that you can measure. We all have an electrical field, but somehow when you become a ghost, that gets greater. So you can distinguish between a live person's.
So the theory is that these people died, but for some reason their electrical energy is still here. Is that basically what the theory is?
And the way I describe it is their essence, because some people go right to the soul. I'm not saying their soul is still here, but their essence, their fundamental essence is still here. Whatever they were as a living person, personality-wise.
If they stunk, if they were funky,
they're
smelling?
funky. They're a funky ghost.
Do you ever have like smells associated with ghosts?
Yeah, absolutely. We get that quite often. Colognes that they may have worn.
B.O.
Sometimes you will. Cigar smokes, typical things.
That would be my grandpa.
If somebody smoked a pipe, we've had people quite often that, they'll smell like grandpa's pipe or grandpa's cigar, and then they know that he's with them. And sometimes you'll even get like a smell of like rotten eggs or sulfur kind of a smell. So, yeah.
But also cherries and strawberries, and some people can taste that smell.
Yep.
Cherries and strawberries?
They can taste that smell from a ghost.
And they will tell you this, and you're like, oh, it's got to be a ghost then, right? Because it's cherries. Why do you have any idea why it's those particular fruits? Is there a theory on that?
No, but, it's more pleasant than some of the other scents that you might get with death.
I got a feeling that if I died and was haunting someplace, I'd be farting a lot, and that's all you would smell.
I think you might be part ghost.
Yeah, I think, that's what my kids would go, oh, geez, you could smell Dad here. That's what they would say. All right, Grand Rapids Ghost Hunters, if you want to talk to these guys in person, they'll be at Nick Fink's October 28th. They're out there every year around Halloween time for a public reveal and tour. And the Point Bar, October 30th. The Point Bar is on the west side, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, northwest side.
Okay, for a public reveal and tour. And also October 27th, you're doing an investigation at the Belding Memorial Library? That's where?
Yeah, that's interesting. Right in Belding.
Okay.
And it's interesting. Look that one up online.
The Belding Library.
Yeah, look that one up. That's one of those legendary ones, but there have been a lot of occurrences, a lot of people saying that there's a girl ghost there.
You can also check them out at Grand Rapids Ghost Hunters on Facebook. And Wayne, never use a Ouija board? Your advice is never use a Ouija board?
Never.
Why?
You don't know what you're going to invite in.
How about Jumanji? Can we play that?
Yeah. That sounds like fun.
Fascinating stuff as always, guys. The Ghost Journal is at the Mitten Bar. If you ever want to check it out for yourself, if you're going over there for they have great pizza. And they have great beer there, too. The Mitten on the west side there. Thanks a lot, guys, for coming in. It's always fascinating to talk to you.
Thanks for having us.
They come in every...
Always fun, JoJo.
They always come in every Halloween. Wayne and Dan with Grand Rapids Ghost Hunters. Search them on Facebook. It's 98.7 WFGR.